We are live, live. What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays. Hope everybody's having a good one. Somebody tell me if you can hear me. I have not done a live in a very long time. Thank you, Mauro. Yoo-hoo. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. What's going on, everybody? Y'all talk to me for a little bit. I haven't done a live in a long time, and so I'm hoping that we can have a little chat here and just kind of see what's going on. 2024 is just almost gone. 22 was a blur, 23 was a faster blur, and 24, I don't know what happened, man. It's almost gone. A lot of great things happening here for us, and for me and my family, and for the Arnie Text channels and platforms. So thank you guys, first of all, for following. Appreciate all the subscriptions here on YouTube. It's really kind of grew really fast. So we're just honored, humbled, and grateful to every one of you guys. How you guys been? Um, this thing goes kind of fast, so sometimes it's hard for me to keep up. Hey Al, what's going on? Lunacy Queuing, great channel. Y'all can go follow my friend Al Lunacy at I think it's Lunacy Queuing. Al Lunacy Queuing on YouTube too. He's got a pretty cool channel, a bunch of cool things going on there too. So y'all go check him out. Michelle Wells, thank you for joining us. Lone Bull Barbecue, Mauro. Mark Scroggs, long time no see. Thank you so much, my friend, for being a big supporter, not only of our channels, but of our products and our barbecue spices, and a big cheerleader for us. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you a bunch, buddy. I'm on my iMac, so it might look like I'm looking down, but it's because the camera's up here, because it's a big screen. But anyway, we're here with you guys. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, bro. My sister Selma has finally joined YouTube. Thank you, Selma. I really appreciate it. Love you, sister. And look forward to seeing you guys here pretty soon. What else is going on? Who everybody's jumping in, man? Mauro, thank you for the conversation this afternoon. You've always been a really big help. Really appreciate you, brother. Mauro also started a YouTube channel recently. He is a counselor, and it's in Spanish. So if you want to go follow Mauro and listen to a Spanish counseling channel, if you're a man's man, it would be a great channel for y'all too. But mainly today, we're here to see what are some of your questions. What are you guys struggling with in your barbecue cooking or even in the kitchen? I mean, obviously, if you guys are on my channel and subbed, you know that I do a little bit of everything. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Everybody, Bill, thank you for joining us, Bill. Billy, Billy. I don't have my readers on, guys. I'm embarrassed to have them on. So y'all bear with me. Zelda's on here. Hi, Zelda. Good to see you too. And oh my goodness, man, it's just piling in. I can't keep up. But I'm looking for questions for all of you guys. I don't know how long we'll be on here. We're just going to kind of play it by ear. I forgot to bring me a nice cold beer, so I might send my wife to go get me one here in a minute. Two Arnies in day one. That's right, Kyle. Thank you very much for joining us. Also, appreciate you, bud. And y'all stay with us. We're going to have an exciting 2025. We have some big announcements and we got some really cool things we're working on. So, y'all stay with us. Definitely come check us out next Sunday. We're going to do another live next Sunday for sure. Maybe one or two in between then. But y'all stay with us, man. It's going to be a fun ride in 2025. I promise y'all that. Love the salsas. Awesome. Thank you. Skate Raider. I skate raid. I think I said that right. Skater. Thank you, babe. Well, there's a DE at the end, so I don't know. But thank you for joining. Thank you for the shout out. I'm glad you like our salsas. I've got a couple of more I've been working on that I think I'm going to share with you guys here pretty soon. So y'all definitely stay tuned for sure. We got some really cool things we're working on. Got a lot of new recipes that we're going to be recording for you folks. I want to say a big shout out and thank you to all of our sponsors. You guys know, I mean, I know it's a free platform for everybody, including me, but to do the production that we do at the quality that we do and as often as we do it, it's not free for us. So thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate all y'all support. Thank you for subbing. we're finally, in kind of a rhythm and a groove. This year was a really, really fast and somewhat of a blur. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
There's a couple of questions already.
All right, just let's see. I think
Red jalapenos hotter than green ones.
let's see if this is. I think this is the first question. Just fried my first ever turkey using your instruction video and turned out fantastic. Awesome. Thank you, John, for that feedback. We appreciate that very much. Let me see if I can find that question. Yeah, buy tons of beer and more Mexican rice. Mama takes rice, man. Terry's is very close to the same, just as good, man. Let me find that one. Which one is it, hon?
Brandon, counterman, are red jalapenos hotter than green ones?
Okay, we'll get to that. D. Frank has a question. What's up, Arnie? Can I get where? How can I get the San Manuel chorizo out here in California? Well, good news for you, Frank. If you go to chorizosanmanuel.com, I believe that's the website. They will actually ship it to your address, whatever you enter into their website. They ship all over the country, and they have different packages, not just with chorizo, but they also have different meat packages and party packages, things like that, Frank. Give them a look them up online. They do have a website and they do ship nationwide and probably beyond that, most likely worldwide. Let me turn off my ringer over here. It's going nuts.
It's Danny, but I got it. I got
Okay, cool. Um, let's see. Thank you, James, for loving our products. I appreciate that, sir. Appreciate it very much. I'm still looking for that jalapeno question. Let me scroll down. They came in really fast and furious here. What's the name?
it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon Counterman.
I'm gonna have to get my lenses on, man. Sheesh, I can see better like this. Oh yeah, that's a better, much better. Guys, don't judge me. I'm over 60, so I gotta have my readers. Thank you, Kay. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, friends. If y'all want to support the channel, y'all can do that on here. Thank y'all so much. El Tio from Pearland, Texas. Gracias. Thank you, Jesse. Ortiz, appreciate that. We will get to the question of the jalapeno. Let me find it first. There, we've got a lot of people coming in, so thank y'all so much. Let me try to keep up here my very best. Thank you, Mauro. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lone Bull Barbecue. I really appreciate that feedback too, sir. Those hasty bakes are indeed amazing, man. They really are. Here's a question also. I don't know if it's before or ahead. You may have to show it to me, hon. This one says, I make your best salsa of all time. Everybody loves it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Brisket, 195 to 200 is a good temp. Yes, it is. Now, let me clarify that a little bit. If you're cooking hot and fast, say, 300 degrees, 275 to 300 or higher, you're going to probably have to go to 203, 205, maybe even a little higher than that before you get to that butter tenderness. If you're cooking low and slow, that brisket will be really done at 195 to 198. Definitely by the time you hit 200. Think of it like this: as the heat is traveling into the meat and the cold air, a cold meat or the cold thermal mass, whatever you call it, is coming in the other direction. You get past that stall. Um, the hotter you're cooking, the quicker the heat gets on the inside, but that doesn't mean it has rendered and that it's already fully cooked and tender. It takes a little more time to do that. So I've gravitated to cooking a little bit lower and slower. 250, 275 is like my high now. And I used to be 325 most of my life for a long, long time. And I've gone the other way now. Really, really do get a little bit better product on brisket at a lower temperature. I'm not a 225 guy. I don't think you have to cook that slow, but if that's your flavor, then by all means, it's definitely going to be awesome if you do that. What's cooking? A lot. It's almost New Year's.
Okay, answer, are red jalapenos hotter than green ones?
All right. Let me find the question.
It's from
Uh,
Brandon
Here it
Counterman.
is. Here it is. I found it.
There you go.
I found it. I was just
Yay.
I was just, man, a lot of you guys coming on. Thank y'all so much. I'm not even sure how many people we have on here, but thank you for joining us. It says 260 up here. That's pretty amazing. That's the biggest number I think we've ever had. Thank you so much. Brandon, I found your question. Thank you for your question. Are red jalapenos hotter than green ones? I honestly cannot tell you the truth about that. I have had hot red ones and I've had really hot green ones. What I do find on jalapenos and serranos is a lot of inconsistency, whether they're red or green. There is that theory on the green jalapeno that if they have those little uh, strands on the outside where the chile is a little bit more mature. They say that makes it hotter. I have not always found that to be true. In most cases, it is, but generally they get that way when they're a little more mature. So, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think a more mature chile is going to be a little bit hotter, whichever one it is, red or green. So, that's my take on that. I can't guarantee that it is one way or the other. I've had, like I said, hot red ones and mild ones, and I've had, I mean, habanero hot green ones, and then some that taste like bell peppers. So I honestly, the other thing to consider there is remember that chili peppers are grown all over the world, all over this country and Mexico. So it also depends on where it's coming from. I do believe and know, as a matter of fact, that chili pepper growers are always experimenting and trying to either tone them down or hybrid them or make them hotter. So it depends on where it comes from and what variety that is, which ranch farm uh, region it came from. I think the dirt and maybe even the rainfall or irrigation system might have some kind of effect on that. I'm not a scientist. Those are just my theories being around chiles my entire life. I think I missed a question
There's
or
another one coming down. It says, I'm having trouble keeping my knives sharp.
let me answer this one real quick
Okay.
first. Feliz Año Nuevo, Arnie. What you gonna make for New Year? Honestly, I have not decided 100%. I've got a freezer full of stuff. I just right now, 10, 15 minutes ago, pulled out a brisket, stuck it in my camera with a little bit of ice. It's gonna get 2 or 3 day thaw. It should be just right for New Year's. So for sure, I'm gonna smoke a brisket. But man, it's New Year's Eve. I gotta make some other stuff besides that. I'm thinking maybe I even throw a pork butt in there. The beauty of both of those meats is if you have leftovers, you vacuum pack them and pull them out a little bit later, and they're still just as wonderful. All right, let me get further down here. Howdy, howdy, everybody. Well, Roger, right, is that Roger? Man, Roger, long time no see. Man, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you hanging on here with us or joining us. Say hi to your wifey, and man, good to see you, bro. He's an old competitor friend of mine. Thanks for joining us, Roger. Appreciate it. Hi, Joey. How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining. Let me look for that question. I know we're on here for questions. Let me try and find the next one down. Okay. What kind of seasoning do I use for ribs? Well, there's a million seasonings out there now, and of course, I like the three that I have, and I change it from time to time. Now let's qualify ribs first. Which kind of ribs are you talking about? Is it beef ribs, pork ribs, baby backs? It really doesn't matter. The Wow, the OG, and the brisket rub are all amazing on ribs. Let me tell you what I've been doing lately uh, for both pork and beef ribs. And for me, this is a super winner. This is a non-sweet rib. For me, I like to get the sweet from the barbecue sauce if I'm gonna want to eat a sweet rib, which is usually a pork rib. But what I do is I layer a light coat of Wow on, wait a few minutes, and then I'll throw a nice, decent coat of brisket rub, of American Pitmaster brisket rub on those ribs. And the brisket rub has some chili peppers in it, has a little more garlic, has a little bit bigger pepper on there. They're a 16 mesh, so it's a little bigger pepper. So when you bite into it, you get that Texas style rib, baby. I mean, it's really good. And then if I want a little hint of sweet, I might throw some turbinado sugar on there, or I just might put a little barbecue sauce on there to glaze them. So it just kind of really depends what kind of rib you're looking for. I don't generally do a sweet beef rib, so it's probably I'm referring more to the pork if you're talking about sweet. For beef ribs, you can't go wrong with Wow. And if you're old school and you just want a basic Texas style rib, the way my granddad and my dad used to do it, use the OG, salt, pepper, garlic in a fine grain, not a coarse grain. melts quickly into the meat. You can cook a little bit quicker and get a lot of flavor. It's the perfect blend of salt, pepper, and garlic, according to Joe Rogan, anyway. All right, guys, let me see if I can find another one. Somebody says finding seasoning. Pitmaster.us. That would be my website, pitmaster.us. Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate you hanging out here with us. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate that. Here's another good one. I'm having trouble keeping my knife sharp. I should do question mark. Colleen, there's a lot of different factors that go into keeping a knife sharp. Uh, First of all is the quality of the knife, what brand, what kind of steel they use, how they tempered it and how they finished it, what angle the knives have. There's 15 degrees, 20 degrees, and then there's a two angle and a three angle. You get into this big old rabbit hole when it comes to sharpening knives too. I've done that. But in general, what I do, maybe once a year, I will sharpen mine on the stone, 1,000, 1,200 grit. I might go a little bit lower than that if it's a beat up knife, but generally my knives never ever get that bad because what I do to maintain the sharp, and my two favorite brands are Victorinox and Dexter Russell, or just Dexter. I think it's just Dexter now. It used to be Dexter Russell. I'm not real sure, but anyway, those are my two favorite brands. The Victorinox knife is a harder steel than Dexter. So I use both. It's easier to sharpen the Dexter and a little bit harder to sharpen the Victorinox, but the Victorinox holds it longer because it is a harder steel. So what I do almost 100% every single time I'm going to use the knife, I get my steel out, the metal steel, the steel, and I'll give it about 3 to 5 passes on each side, check the edge, make sure I don't have any burrs. And if there is, I'll straighten it out either with a strop or with the actual steel. You can do that with steel too. I haven't seen too many people do that. Actually, I might make a video on that. But anyway, that's how I keep mine always, always, always very sharp. Now, I'm not a big fan of super sharp, razor sharp knives. Mine are not usually that sharp, but they're super sharp, way sharp enough to get any kind of trimming and slicing done. So that's my technique. I might need to get them on the stone once a year. Sometimes it's 2 years before I got to do that. There's also different steels. Some are a little bit coarser than others, and so I have a coarse one. I also have a diamond steel. That one's a little bit more aggressive. If I really need to get into a knife, I'll use the diamond steel, and then I'll go to the next one, and then I have a real fine with it. Puts a real nice finished edge on them. All right, let's keep trucking. Hope that helps, Colleen. Thank you for your question. Um, Thank you, David Placencia, for following for all these years. I appreciate you. Un chingos, compadre. Thank you. Here's another good friend of mine, Trumpet Master 77 Barbecue. Also has a really great YouTube channel. If y'all get a chance, go follow my friend Luis at Trumpet Master 77 Barbecue. I think I need a brewski, man. I'm starting to stutter a little bit here. Maybe I'll take a sip of water. At least for now. All right, here's a good question. How's the best way to wrap ribs by Gary Castile? I think I said that correctly. Apologize if I didn't, Gary. But Gary, I don't know that there's any one way that is the best. I think different types of cookers and sometimes might require different type of techniques. Also depends on what your finished product is going to look like or what you're trying to accomplish with your finished product. I've wrapped them in foil. I've wrapped them in butcher paper, uh, ribs, and I'm assuming we're talking about pork ribs, but it applies to both beef and pork. If you wrap in butcher paper, pink butcher paper, you're going to retain a little bit more of that natural flavor, a little bit more of the smoky flavor when you wrap. If you wrap with foil, you're going to have a little bit more of the natural au juice that comes out of the meat as you cook. So you can do it either way. I know a lot of people like to put, about 10 gallons of sugar in there and about 2 or 3 gallons of butter and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that I'm not a fan of that. I want to taste my pork ribs. I want to taste my beef ribs. I like to have that nice balance. For me, that was one of the secrets that made us really successful in the competition world, is that it was always about balance. But that's just my preference. If you like really sweet ribs, that's one way to do it. Another way that I like to do it, if I'm going to use barbecue sauce, and I'll wrap them in foil, and I'll put a little bit of barbecue sauce in the foil, put them meat side down, wrap them up nice and tight, and then finish them off that way. I like to get ribs, kind of like brisket, up around 200, 203, somewhere in that ballpark. Again, depending on how hot I'm cooking. Um, but generally, if I want that, if I have a little extra time and I'm cooking a little bit slower, I would really honestly prefer the butcher paper method. But there's nothing wrong with using foil either. That if you smoke them long enough, you're still going to have really, really great flavor. That's kind of my take on that. Again, there's no such thing as the best way, and I know them are fighting words for some people. Some people think this is the best way, and that is the best way. There's really no such thing. At the end of the day, it's personal preference, and sometimes you just got to experiment, do it a couple of different ways till you find the best way for you. What you like is the best way, or whatever works for you and your family. That's my opinion. Hope that helps you out, Gary. Thanks for the question. Appreciate that. Hello, chat. Trumpet Master 77. I'm not sure. Guys, I'm still pretty new to this whole live stream thing. I haven't done it often enough. So y'all bear with me. We're going to do a little bit more of it this week, next week, and the year of 2025. So stay with us. Here's another question. Pregunta, what's your favorite knife to cut fat off of meat with? Um, Kristen Emmerich, thank you for your question. Thanks for joining us. I don't know that I have a favorite knife for trimming. I actually have a pretty big collection of knives, and sometimes it's just depending on what meat it is, how much fat it is. Like if it has a real thin membrane, like fajita, skirt steaks, picanha, and those kind of meats, they have a really thin membrane on them. And if I want to get that membrane off, that happens a lot with the big monster ribs too. They have a thicker membrane. I do like to use a fillet knife. That fillet knife, if it's sharp, man, it just gets right under. It's got a nice sharp point. You can just kind of get it under, and they bend and flex a little bit. So you can kind of bend it and flex a little bit and get up under that silver skin, and it's really easy to get it off. And if it's sharp, man, it just pulls it right off, man. So that's generally my favorite for that. But in general, like when I was on the competition circuit, my number one favorite trimming knife was an 8-inch breaking knife. That's called a breaking knife. And it's either a Victorinox or a Dexter. I have both brands in that particular model. Those are my favorite. Probably all-time favorite will be the 8-inch breaking knife. I see a lot of guys using the 6-inch boning knife. It looks exactly like the breaking knife, but it's smaller, and that will do the job too. I just think that little bit longer blade, a little bit firmer blade, allows you for big meat to do a little bit better job and just give it a nice longer slice, so you get a little bit more of that off in one stroke. That's just my opinion. Hope that helps you, but there's no right way, there's no wrong way. An 8-inch or a 10-inch chef knife will do anything. That's the number one knife. If you don't have a lot of knives, you want one really, really good knife that does everything. An 8-inch chef knife or a 10-inch chef knife will do the job for pretty much anything. Hope that helps, Kristen. Thank you for your question. It's me, it's me, QZ. It really is. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Joey. Puro 956. Si, senor. Yeah, buddy. Let's see. Where do we get that hat? This hat here is at pitmaster.us. That is my website. We are currently out. The holidays kicked our tail. We anticipated a lot of sales. Unfortunately, our printer machine broke down and he was not able to give us as many as we wanted. So we do have some in the works. Check out our website early and often, and you will see them there very soon. Thank you for your question, Jameson. Appreciate that, brother. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Scott Hogan from Sealy, Texas. Thank you, Annette. I'm glad you enjoy our products. Appreciate that. Scott, how you guys doing? I hope everything's great up there in Sealy. Thank you guys for carrying our products at y'all stores. Um, Hilji Smokehouse, I think it's if I my brain's a little. It's Sunday afternoon, man. But man, thank you guys so much for carrying. I've been in your store 3 times now. Missed you every time, dude. Hope to catch you next time. Thank you so much. All right, let me see if we got any other questions. How can you see the classes that we offer? Go to arnietex.com. That is my website, arnietex.com, just like my shirt says here, Arnietex. Just put a .com on the end. And that is my website. There's 3 tabs in there. It's a real simple website. Click the one that says Pitmaster Classes. We have several classes available there. Right now, for the last year, year and a half, the Brisket Masterclass and the Backyard Masterclass have been our biggest sellers. But if you want to take your competition game up to another level, or if you've never taken a competition class at all, that would be the class to get. Everything from selection, trimming, getting it into the tray, cooking it, wood selection is in there, different types of grills and smokers to use. It's a very, very, very comprehensive class. We get a lot of compliments on that. But that's where you'll find it, arnietex.com. All right. Any tips for getting the flat as tender as the point? Hi, Louie. Um, you know, there's that's just another one of those things that I don't think there's any exact right way or wrong way. There's a few factors that you have to consider: the type of smoker, the cooking temperature, how the heat flows through your smoker, if it's an offset or if it's a drum, or some other type of cooker, if it's a pellet grill. That's a huge factor. Generally, everybody recommends putting the fat part, the point, to the heat, to the side of the heat first. But if you're on a drum and the heat's on the bottom, a little harder to do. So you generally want the whole fat towards the bottom. What I do on my drums, I'll put a water pan in there for the first half of the cook. That allows the entire meat to kind of temp up and get up closer to even. If you're on a stick burner, again, most people will put the point toward the heat. I've always started mine the other way around in my stick burner, believe it or not. And I know that's contrary to popular opinion. I'm just telling you what works for me. I'll start the flat part towards the heat, and in 2 hours, I'll rotate it back the other direction. You got to keep in mind that the point has a lot more fat in it. It's very well marbled compared to the lean. So the lean meat is a little bit more dense, a little bit firmer, tougher, if you want to use that word. So it needs a little bit of a head start, in my opinion. And so the point, when you have it pointed toward the heat, what I find a lot of times, it will be completely done and rendered at 203. And the if you never did rotate it and you kept the flat away from the direct heat source, it's going to fall behind. You might be 200 on the point and 185, 190 on the flat. It's not quite there. It's a very fine balancing act. It's not easy to get them both perfect. So, in my opinion, at some point, you have to compromise a little bit. There is a little bit of a compromise there where you're going to have to accept that the point needs to be not quite as tender as you want in order to get the flat where you want it. But there's always a fine balance there, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, I struggle with that just as much as the next guy. And believe me, restaurants do too, a lot of them, you know, but they cook 20, 30, 50 briskets a day. So it's a little bit easier for them. The other thing is, if you're cooking multiple briskets, is to move them around. That way you get nice, even heating. I like to, in some cases, rotate my brisket uh, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, you know, by the time you do the whole 360. And that way you get nice, even heat on the entire brisket all the way around. In general, on an offset, you know, it's kind of flowing one way or the other. So everybody kind of tries to trim them, give them a little bit of an aerodynamic shape so that air flows all the way around. But even like that, it's not a perfect thing. So that's one of the reasons I like to rotate mine sometimes 3, 4, 5 times, depending on how hot I'm cooking. But you know, that's one thing. The other thing is to buy some. If you're cooking primes, primes will have more marbling in the flat part as well on the tip, so that will help as well. You know, so again, the point is much more marbled. I like to start my flat towards the heat source first and then rotate it. But that's just me. Okay, hope that helps you. We got Gary. Do I wrap beef ribs? Most of the time I do, Gary. Not always. It just kind of depends on how much time I have and what my temperature's running. You know, we're all human, and every once in a while I'm distracted and my fire gets a little too hot and gets away from me. If it does, I'll try to bring it back down, and I will wrap it in order to avoid overcooking it too much. So yeah, it's okay to wrap them. And if I have a water pan, if I'm cooking a drum, I may not wrap them at all. They still come out really nice and juicy, but they do take longer to cook that way. Um, Thank you very much, Annette. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. God bless you guys. Let's see, what do we got over here? I know where to get my meat in Arizona, but being out here in Minnesota, where do I go? Oh my goodness, AG, you're just gonna have to look online, brother. In my opinion, you might need to Google your local area and see where all the best meats are. There are many, many, many online shippers now from different ranches. That's kind of a lottery deal. It's a hit and miss. I've ordered a meat online many times, and it's not always consistent. You have to keep in mind that these are places that are just trying to sell everything they have, and it's not always perfect. So and they still got to sell it or do something with it. So FYI, me personally, even in competition, that's when I used to order a lot of meats online, and then I quit doing that because I'd get $200-300 briskets that were not competition worthy. So I just quit ordering online. I just would frequent the local grocery stores and the meat markets on a regular basis. And every once in a while, you see that really nice one or a couple of them. If you see two or three and they're really nice, and if your budget will allow you, buy them all and stick them in the freezer, and then use them when you have an opportunity. That worked for me when I was in the comp world. Now I don't quite buy as many, but I still look for them. And if I see a good one, I'm going to buy it. That's for sure. All right. Next question. What else we got?
Just remind him to stay to come back next week.
Oh, good. My wife just reminded me, guys, gals, trust me, you're going to want to be here next Sunday. We have a huge announcement, a really cool, big announcement, and you're not going to catch it if you're not with us here next week.
Next question.
All right, let's go to the next question. My wife's directing me over here. I should have my earpods on, but I don't. But anyway, guys, is the audio good on y'all's end? Usually I wear my earpods and it's better, but maybe I'll put them back on right now. Let's see. Do your top 5 barbecue states in America. That's a tough question because I haven't been in a lot of barbecue states to do an actual personal comparison. I've had really good barbecue in Oklahoma. I've had really great barbecue in Texas. Um, and that's pretty much it. Texas and Oklahoma. I've been to a couple other states, but I've never had barbecue there. Um, we had some pretty good barbecue in Florida. We were there one year, a few years ago too. Sonny's barbecue had some pretty decent barbecue. Enjoyed it. So I really don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna just spitball from looking online, I'm gonna. And then again, what's barbecue? Are we talking about brisket, ribs, and chicken, or are we including fajitas and steaks? Do you consider that barbecue? That's pretty much a loaded question, and of course, you're going to get different answers from different people. But in general, I'm going to say this: Texas is probably the biggest and best barbecue state. I'm not saying that braggadociously or arrogantly. I'm just saying that in general, you see now the entire world buying gigantic offset smokers and importing wood, and they're making Texas style brisket. California is making Texas style barbecue. Oklahoma, New York, Chicago, Florida. The whole world is cooking Texas style barbecue. To me, that tells me that. I'm not going to argue with anybody one way or the other. I'm just telling you what I see. So I think for number one, it's probably going to be Texas. That's just my opinion. Of course, I live in Texas, so I am a little bit biased. Thank you for your question. Appreciate that. Do you ever use anything other than whole Kaileko? I think you forgot a word. Are you talking about brisket, pork butt, chicken?
Go to the next question.
Next. Hello, Jose. How you doing, bud? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. Thank you, George. George, appreciate the shout out there, man. Those things are awesome, man. I'll put them against New Mexico chilies any day. I think New Mexico's amazing too. They're right there neck and neck. They're both wonderful. I think Guajillos is like a hidden gem that people just don't realize. But all right, let's keep on trucking here. from Charlotte, North Carolina. Am I good friends with Michael Salgado? I'm going to say yes. He's been to my house and we've cooked together. The dude is a very humble, just a down home, regular old boy like the rest of us. He's really a super nice guy, man. Super nice guy. I love his music. Y'all do know he's coming out with country music too. It's pretty damn good. You can catch it on YouTube. Check it out. All right. All right. My favorite chef, love your food. And my wife's from Oaxaca, Mexico. Well, thank you, Kenny. Appreciate that. One thing I would like to clarify, I'm not a chef, or at least not a culinary trained chef. I do cook a lot, though. So if that counts, all right. Thank you, man. But thank you. Appreciate that. Um, Again, where are the list of classes? Those are at arnitex.com. Thank you so much. I agree with Mauro. The chorizo from the cilantro sausage from Chorizo San Manuel is on another level. I have some sausage connoisseur friends from outside of South Texas that actually make their own sausages that love Chorizo San Manuel cilantro sausage. Thank you, Mauro. All right, let me see if I can catch up another question here. Um, Here's Double A Barbecue. He has his own food trailer now. Hi, Adrian. Thanks for joining us, brother. Appreciate it. He uses our rubs, orders every week or every other week. And thank you for your support, Adrian. And is a Pit Masterclass member. Thank you. I'm so glad that you decided to join us. And man, I wish you the best, brother. And you keep on doing what you're doing. I know we had that conversation last week, and man, you're looking big, bro. You're doing a lot of cool things. If I was younger, I'd be out there running with you, but I'd rather just make videos. It's a lot easier nowadays. Thank you. What's cooking, man? Raul, thank you. What's going on, Raul? Long time no see, brother. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you. All right. What else we got cooking?
There's someone that says, um, how do you switch up when you get tired of traditional carne asada?
All right. We'll get to that one. The next question down nicely first is Lara Revilla. Do you have a favorite spicy enchilada sauce recipe? Actually, Lara, we do. We have, I think, two or three recipes on YouTube and more coming to you. Come see us next week, and you're going to be glad you did. Now, if you want to make it spicy, the salsas that I have on there, the enchilada sauce, we have a very, very popular red enchilada sauce made with guajillos from scratch on my YouTube channel. Check it out. If you want to make it spicy, we use three chile de árbol in that recipe because that's kind of the balance where my mom can still enjoy it. It's not too spicy. Me, I like to use about 15 or 20 of them, but I usually don't on the enchilada sauce because that way my mom and Terry can both enjoy it as well. But check it out. It's on YouTube. Thank you. Hope that helps. Thank you. Appreciate that, Cindy. Appreciate that very much. Um, Good question. Good question. We're working on that. What steak would you call your go-to? Trumpet Master for a long time. I'm going to say that a ribeye has always been my favorite. Um, fajitas. Skirt steak is a thing in South Texas. It's the most popular steak in South Texas. Me personally, forever it has been the ribeye, but now I really, really like two other ones. One of them is the New York Strip, and the other one now is I'm a big, big fan of picanhas. That is another really amazing piece of meat that you can pull several steaks out of. It's not always super marbled, but the meat's like tenderloin, just super tender as long as you don't overcook it. I probably have three or four picanhas in my freezer right now. I cooked two of them during the Christmas holidays. They're just awesome, man. I love picanha now. They're awesome, awesome. And I also love the New York strip. I like that little bit more beefy flavor. Now the ribeye, of course, has so much marbling. You can never go wrong with a ribeye, but I starting to like as I got older the beefy flavor that a New York brings, and then the tenderness of the picanha without all the marbling. Hope that helps. All right, how do I switch it up when you get tired of traditional carne asada? I've been adding sides. I agree, Dagoberto. Yeah, put some sides in there. And honestly, I never get tired of traditional, but I do change it up. I mean, fortunately, I've been cooking a lot for my entire life, so I will cook fajitas on a regular basis, skirt steak, sometimes, as I mentioned a minute ago, picanha, sometimes ribeye, sometimes uh, uh, New York strips. I like to cook pork butts. Of course, I cook a lot in the kitchen too. I like to make picadillo con papas. I love to make breakfast. We make barbacoa, and just all kinds of other dishes in the kitchen. My mom likes to cook a lot too, so we'll do fideo, arroz con pollo, and all them kind of things. So it's not just barbecue. It's not just carne asada in my life. Let me bring that question back. Thank you, hon. My wife is kind of helping me out here, so thank you, Terry. But also, the other thing that I've started to do a lot more often now is marinades. Um, I historically had not been a big marinade person. Like I said earlier, I like a nice beefy beef, but I started playing around with marinades early this year, maybe late last year, because a lot of people were asking me for marinades. And you know what, man, I really like a good marinade now, man. And with skirt steak, these particularly the inside skirt, because they're so tough, marinades can really help bring that meat to a little bit more tenderness. And of course, if you have a good marinade, the flavor is going to be off the chart too. I've got several of those marinades on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to go check it out. Guys and gals, we are like 9,000 subscribers away from hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I would love y'all's help. Tell your family, tell your friends, like, comment, and share. Let's get Arnie to 1 million before New Year's Eve. Ayúdame, por favor. Thank you, friends. Appreciate that. Thank y'all. Y'all stay with us. We're still scrolling down here. Thank you, Kyle Johnson. Appreciate the question, sir. I'm not evading. I'm just evading. It's coming. That's all I'm going to say. Next question. Oh man, hard part about cooking is cleaning up after. You got that right, Jose. Imagine when you have 15 or 20 grills like I do, and you use them all on a regular basis because you're making different kind of videos to kind of change it up and just enjoy cooking on different types of cookers. I have a lot of them. I enjoy all of them. They're like I love them. I love all of them. I don't really necessarily have a favorite depending on what I'm cooking, but you're right. Sometimes I'll take a Sunday afternoon or a weekday afternoon and I literally will spend 2 or 3 hours just cleaning all my grills, getting rid of all the ashes, scraping off the grease, doing stuff like that. I'm going to make a video about that. I made one a couple years ago. I'm going to do another one because I have more grills now. Hi, Mandy. Thanks for joining us. You're still making choriqueso. It's amazing. I totally agree. You know what? That's another thing we should make for New Year's Eve, hon. Let's make a choriqueso. Yeah, we should do a choriqueso. We haven't done that in quite a while. So we'll be doing that on New Year's most likely. Thank you for reminding us. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Thank you very much, David Johnson. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that, brother. How, here's a good one I get all the time. How do you stay in shape given all the barbecuing you do? Well, let me answer this question because I do get it quite often. Um, let me turn it around and ask you a question, Daniel. How many big, heavyset top chefs do you see? Really, not many. If you look at Gordon Ramsay and Bobby Flay and Michael Simon, he's one of my heroes too. They're not really big guys. Guys, we cook a lot because we enjoy cooking. We're passionate about making great food and sharing it with people and friends and family, but that doesn't mean we eat it all. I cook a lot of food, but I don't eat it all. I share it with my friends, I share it with my neighbors. My family is very lucky. They get to enjoy quite a bit of the food that we cook. Um, Also, I have a pretty well balanced diet, and my wife in the corner over there, she keeps me in line too. She'll make me oatmeal, smoothies, salads, guacamole salads. I mean, that's one of my favorites too. I love salsa, so sometimes I'll just sit down with a bowl and some pico de gallo and or a bag of chips and some salsa and go to town. Um, if you do that once in a while, you get full. You don't really get a lot of food, but you kill your hunger. So I do eat a pretty balanced life, a pretty balanced diet, I think. I think I have a pretty well balanced. And I do feel like I'm a little overweight, maybe about 10, 15 pounds. So maybe 2025, you'll see me even thinner. Vamos a ver. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kyle. Muchas gracias. Um, what's up, Frank? How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining us. You used carne asada recipe for enchiladas. Yeah, buddy. That works, Papa. Thank you. Appreciate that, Adrian. Y'all go check out my friend. If you're in San Antonio area, he has a food trailer Double A Barbecue. Amazing barbecue. And he actually took my advice, started making tacos, and now he's doing smash burgers and hamburgers and stuff. Adrian, you've been super successful, man. I'm so proud of you, brother. Appreciate you very much, too. Super proud of you. Hello from 78130. I'm not sure where that's at, Danny, but thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jason Sapp. Oh my goodness, so many people. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Appreciate the support, brother. Appreciate it very
He
much.
likes the refried bean recipe.
Who? Oh, yes. Used the refried bean recipe. Turned out great. Thanks from Calgary. Woo, way up there in Canada. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support, Jason. Thank you so much. Yeah, that bean recipe, man. Man, I learned it in the restaurant. Because I've always eaten it. My mom's made it. My grandma made that stuff and whatever, right? But I noticed that everybody kind of liked a little different style of refried beans. Sometimes they were runny, and this even goes to different restaurants that we used to frequent. Some restaurants would serve them runny, and some they were dry, dry and too firm even for me. But when we had our own restaurant back in 08, 09, had some really good chefs, a couple of really great cooks there. And we always were having fun in the kitchen, doing different things and experimenting. And I had some customers that would ask for a runny bean, and some that wanted a firmer bean, so we were able to accommodate them. And that's when I kind of figured out, like, there's different ways to do that, man. Different people, different, how do they say, different strokes, different folks, different strokes. So yeah, man, thanks. I'm glad that worked for you, Jason. Thank you for the support. Hello from California. Gracias. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate that, brother. All right, here's a question. Will you be having any local RGV barbecue classes? And if so, where can I sign up? Carlos, thank you for your question. We have not done in person classes since 2019, except for one. We did do a steak class, a competition steak class 2 years ago in Edinburgh at my friend's barbecue store at ProPit. That was a couple of weeks before the biggest steak cook-off in the state of Texas. I'm pretty sure that's the biggest steak cook-off in Texas, or one of the two biggest. Um, and so we did that mainly to help some of our local guys try to learn how to cook an award-winning steak and do well at that cook-off. Other than that, I really have not done any in-person classes. Stay tuned. We've been talking about that. We may go around and do that again in 2025 if time allows, and if we can keep up with our video production at the pace we're running. It's really hard to find time to do that. We've been having our family and corporate meetings, and we may back down a little bit of the video so that we can go out and meet more of you guys and do stuff like that. It's kind of what I'm hoping. Say, Moto, I got to cheat a little bit here, man. Pinche Adrian. You're welcome. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that, brother. Thanks for hanging out with us. Any plans on new seasonings? Actually, yes, Luis, Trumpet Master. We do have three, maybe four almost done. I'm going to say we'll probably have at least 4 or 5 coming out in the next 90 to 90 days, 3 months, 6 months. By the end of 25, we'll definitely have a whole new lineup, or a bigger lineup. So thank you for asking, man. This past year, we did so many videos, it was hard to keep up. But thank you so much. Special announcement. Don't forget to join me next week for special announcement, January the 5th, 7 p.m. Friends, do not miss that event. Thank you, Danny, for putting that up. I don't know how to do that. Thank you, Valerie. Do I have a recipe for baked what, honey? Valerie, can you repost your question and add the ending there? Do I have a recipe for baked beans, chicken, possum? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, San Antonio in the house. Thank you for joining us, Mariposa de la Tierra. Thank you so much. Mariposa de la Tierra, Aranzas. Hey, I'm trying to keep up here, folks. Do I have a recipe for baked potatoes? Thank you. You had already done it. Thank you, Valerie. With meat. Yes, as a matter of fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, we have a full on video on how to make the big baked potato. And as far as meat, you can just chop up fajita, skirt steak, flank steak, brisket. Down here in South Texas, actually in Texas in general, if you go to a barbecue house, they will chop up brisket and give you what we call a loaded baked potato. Down here in the valley, they have a similar thing. The potatoes are a little bit smaller, but they will put carne asada in there. If you go to a taqueria, obviously they don't have smoked brisket, so they'll chop up either bistec or carne asada, fajitas, whatever steak they're cooking that day, and they will stuff the potato with it, along with sour cream, cheese, butter, and all the good stuff. So yeah, it's on my YouTube. Go check it out, Arnie Tex on YouTube. Thank you, Valerie. Appreciate your question. Mighty, you're also making a brisket for Christmas? Awesome. I'm definitely doing one. Um, Johnny says he's been driving to Sealy to get my seasonings. Thank you so much, Johnny. Appreciate that. Um, we are trying to grow that side of the business. We have not been able to. Stay tuned. We are definitely planning to grow in 2025. We're already getting some things in place for that. So y'all stay with us. We will be in many, many more stores in 2025. Thank you. Appreciate your patience.
And tips. Hello.
Hello. What'd you say?
Next question.
Yeah, next question. Eloy Pacheco loves the OG and always has it in stock. Louis, I did answer that question a little while ago. I think it was your question, so I'm getting behind here. Sorry. Best food I ever cooked came from my video, from Arnie Tech's videos. Thank you, Stephen. Stefan, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks for the follow and thanks for trying the recipes. That's right. Jameson said, hit the like button, y'all. Let's go. Thank y'all. I do want to grow my YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, comment, and share. Arnie Text YouTube. Let's hit that million by New Year's. Ayúdame. Help me out here. uh, all right. But there's a question on the list. Thank you, Benny. Not exactly a cooking question, but are you planning on being in the Galveston, Houston area anytime soon? Love to meet and chat with you in person. I did mention that earlier. If we have an opportunity, that is a plan. It was the plan actually for 2024. That's why I got that big trailer from Lone Star Grills. It's a 7 foot offset smoker with the Santa Maria grill on the backside. That was the purpose of getting that trailer. Thank you, Chris at Lone Star Grills. You built me an amazing trailer. It's fantastic. What happened was during the interim, it takes a while to get a custom trailer built. By the time I got it, I had hired 2 distributors, and our plan had been to go around to all the different markets and stores that carry our seasonings, do some live demos there. Then we got super busy with videos, and the plan kind of got, put in the back burner. But we do have a fantasy and a dream to do that this year, so we will be coming to your area if we do follow through with that. Thank you, and I hope we get to do that, and I do hope to get to meet you. Thank you. All right. The struggle this year is apartment living. Can't use my propane flat top outside. Only 4 more months to a better 2025. I hope so. I hope you get out there so you can grill and smoke some food. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for your question. I think life will be a lot better if you get out of there for sure. Let's see. Here's a question by T. Why do you not toast your chile árbol pods making salsa? I never used that chile and they are way hotter than expected. Love your channel, bro. Thank you, T. Um, I do sometimes toast my chile de árbol. Actually, if you go to my YouTube channel and yeah, on every YouTube page, if you go to my page, not just YouTube, go to my page, and on the right side, there's that little circle, the search tab. Type in their salsa, and if you do that, all of my salsa recipes will be in order of when they actually posted. And if you look through there, you'll see that I do toast my chiles on one particular recipe. When we did an open fire salsa, I actually toasted them right on the coals with a little spider strainer. So go check it out. It's on YouTube. I got a lot of salsa recipes on YouTube. I think you'll be surprised. I don't always toast them. Sometimes I boil my veggies. The tomato, the tomatillo, and even the chiles. Sometimes I'll cook them on the fire outside. I love both. They taste different, but they're both wonderful. I would not say one is better than the other. At the end of the day, it's like everything. Ain't no right way, ain't no wrong way. It's personal preference. Do it the way you like, and that's the right way and the best way. Thank you. It's gotten cold up north. Struggle would be carne asada in the cold. I do agree that is a challenge. Um, Maybe get a little tent, put some tarps around it, leave an open side with a little air coming from the other side, and get your little fire going, man. I've done it in the cold, never in the snow, but man, if it's cold, I still go out there and light up the fire, man. Not as much as I used to, but I still do it. All right, here's another question from Kaileko. Do your peppers other than black? Do you peppers other than black for salsa or seasoning, like white or green? I've never used anything other than fresh ground whole black peppercorns. Actually, yes, I've used white pepper a lot in the past. I haven't used it much recently or in the last year or so or two. But when I was on the competition trail, I used white pepper a lot in my competition meets. White pepper is a little more subtle. You still get that nice little peppery flavor, but without the bite, without that little kick. So yes, and sometimes I do have some of that. Uh, I have a mill with a different peppercorn, different colors and stuff. I forget that I have it there because it's up in the pantry. But every once in a while, I will pull that out and use that. But nothing wrong with that, man. Find the flavor you like and go to town, man. It's all they're all good. They're all good. I don't know if everybody knew this, but pepper is actually very good for you. Go do a Google search on black pepper or pepper. You will find that it has many great health qualities. Check it out. Can I smoke a brisket on a gas grill with wood chips in a metal smoker box? If so, do I soak the wood chips in water and so I need to spray them to not burn? Zelda, thank you for your question. I think that's kind of a challenging question to answer because it probably will depend on the actual grill. I know some grills are designed to do that. You can actually, they're made for you to be able to do that, and then some are a little more challenging. I have done that in the past, and not even on a gas grill, but even on a regular grill with charcoal, I would put some chips in a foil paper, poke some holes in it, and throw it on the fire. If you get it wet, it's going to take longer to smoke. You're going to get a little bit less smoke for a while, and then you will get some. Personally, I've figured out that I didn't need to wet them. I would just make a little bit bigger ball and add a little bit more chips, and it works just as good. Again, remember that smoke is a subtle seasoning on the meat. You can consider smoke a seasoning. So you want to kiss the smoke. You don't want to really oversmoke your meat and be burping it up later. But yes, that can work. I have done it, and I know many people have done it as well. So don't be afraid to give it a try. Try putting it in a ball with foil. They also make smoke tubes now, Zelda. You can find them on Amazon and all other kind of online sales stores. They make these smoke tubes. You can stuff them with pellets or wood chips or whatever, and just throw them in there where it's hot, and they will eventually start to smoke, and you'll get a little extra smoke flavor too. They work great. I've had several of those. I've never found a need to use them. Honestly, I've tried them, and if you use your pellet grill right, you don't need them. But on a gas grill, yeah, you probably would need it for sure. Just purchased a RegTech Bullseye. Anything I should do to condition the grill before using it? Hi, Jake. Thanks for your question. Pretty much, I have a standard practice when I season my grills, whether it's a pellet grill or a charcoal grill or an offset smoker. I pretty much get them hot first, then I'll rinse them out with some water, and don't let them cool off all the way. I rinse out all that just to get any little fine shavings and little particles of metal that might be there in the manufacturing process. Sometimes there may be some oils and things like that in there, but you got to get it up 300-400 degrees, clean it up. If it's in this case a rectic, you don't want to put water in there, but go in there, wipe it off real quick. Make sure you wear some gloves, and then I'll take Pam and I'll just spray the crap out of the grates. I'll flip them over, spray both sides of the grill grates and the whole inside of the grill with Pam. Crank it back up to 354, 450 till it sets, and sometimes I'll start cooking on it right there and then.
It's been an hour. One or two more questions.
All right. I've been told one or two more questions because it's been a whole hour. Let me see how many. Hey, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Man, I didn't realize how fast time goes sometimes. It goes really quick. And I don't think there's a limit to how long I can be on here. If they want to be on here, maybe I'll be on here too. Go get me about 2 or 3 beers. Just kidding. All right. What we got here? What do we got here? What?
I'm just hearing you. And Danny said,
See, hey Mandy, I don't send recipes, but I do have 3 or 4 enchilada recipes on my YouTube channel. Same name, Arnitex. Go to YouTube, look at my channel. It's right back here, Arnitex on YouTube, and I do have some enchilada recipes there that I know you're gonna love because we've gotten a lot of great comments on that. Um, thank you so much, appreciate that. Thank you so much, Pauline. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys out there. And Mark, yes, Mark, we're working on it. Definitely, we're working on it. Thank you, sir. Uh, Red or sweeter, maybe hotter, according to Stephen. Raul Rios, we need to cook another cook-off next to each other. Yes, sir. I haven't cooked in a long time, Raul. May not. It may be a while before I get back out there. Yeah, here's another. Kill me or you die. The brown lines on the jalapenos means they're hotter. I don't know that that's necessarily the reason they're hotter. My take on that, and again, it's not a point of arguing, more like an opinion. I think when they have those lines, it's because they're more mature, and yes, they're probably going to be hotter. My favorite New Year's Day meal. Do you have a suggestion for a good Mexican side for our greens, black eyed peas, or cornbread meal? Um, I mean, there's a lot of Mexican sides. There's rice and there's beans, and then there's beans and there's rice, and then we also have rice and beans, or we have beans and rice. So take your pick. That's a joke, man. But I saw somebody say that those are the only sides we have. Actually, we do have a lot of other sides. We just don't always cook them all the time. Off the top of my head, without thinking about it a little bit longer, man, it's kind of hard for me to comment on that, and we're running out of time. But my favorite New Year's Day meal, that's a good question. Never thought about that. It's probably going to be menudo because we're generally feeling a little bit, like we had a little bit of fun the night before in most cases. So it's probably going to be menudo and barbacoa. Pretty straight up. That's what it is. Um, Thank you. Where do you purchase WoW or Go see OG seasoning? You can go to pitmaster.us. That is our website, pitmaster.us. You can also find our link at arnitex.com. Thank you, Al. Appreciate that. Appreciate it very much. Let me see if I got one more question or two, and then we'll go ahead and let you guys take the rest of the evening off. I know a lot of people got to work tomorrow. I'm talking to my boss. I'm gonna take the day off. See if I can. I'm gonna call in sick. Yeah, right. Let's see. Here's a comment. Jalapenos vary in heat from one pepper to another. In my experience, you are correct, Zelda. That's exactly my experience. Um, could you use peppers other than black for salsa or seasoning? I think I answered that one right. Yes, I did. These things are moving around a little bit. Is that you, Dan? Um, I have a lot of internal meat thermometers. They all read differently. How do you trust your thermometers and which
yeah.
ones do you prefer? That's a good question. Really, really good question. I have a ThermoPro instant read that I trust the most. ThermoWorks is my favorite. I probably have 7 or 8 of those. I also have some Inkbirds. I have found those two brands to be pretty consistent. They might be a degree off, different from one to the other, maybe two sometimes. And again, sometimes it depends just exactly where you have the tip of that Probat. But in general, those are the ones that I like to use the most. There's a couple of other ones. Taylor is a pretty good brand as well. But yeah, I have a lot of them too. I have several different brands. But the ThermoWorks, the MK4, I have several of those. And then I have a couple of lollipops that they sell. I have a couple of those that I use as well. And then also Inkbird. I've been very fortunate. As I said, those are usually really, really close, very, very close, within a degree or two. All right, one more time. Join me next week for a special announcement, friends. January the 5th, 2025. It'll be the brand new year. The first Sunday of January 25. We'll be on here again at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Big announcement. I know you guys are going to love it. So make sure you make plans, put it on your clock, set a timer, make yourself a note, get you a sticky note on your computer. Do not miss it. We will see you there. Thank you. Shout out to West Texas. I grew up in Pecos, so yeah, shout out to West Texas. Matt M&M Custom Designs. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Appreciate that. Pray Six in El Campo and Sealy, both of them carry our product. Thank you. Appreciate that. Um, Pitmaster.us, that is the website. Thank you, Double A Barbecue. Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate that. Um, let's see. Are you in the valley? Everyone went to the Laguna Madre to catch specks. Surely you have a salsa and a grill recipe for the tradition. To catch speckled trout. I'm assuming that's what that means. Yeah, man, I wish I could go catch some specks. That used to be one of my favorite hobbies was fishing. Did a lot of surf fishing back in my younger days. Love doing that, man. I haven't done that in years. We got on the barbecue competition trail, dirt bike trail, and now we're on the YouTube trail, the cooking trail. So, but yeah, man, I would say pretty much any green salsa, any red salsa is gonna work on seafood, man. Um, can't go wrong with ceviche either, man. Get you a good ceviche. Actually, trout, um, baked trout, saltwater trout is my favorite for ceviche for sure. All right, friends, we got a lot of folks in here still. We're tracking 238. Thank you guys for joining. I'm starting to run out of throat here, so we're going to start cutting this off here in just a couple of minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I really, really appreciate all of y'all. And do not forget that come join us next week at 7 p.m., same time. We will definitely be looking forward to see y'all there. Thank you so much, Frank. I do appreciate your support. Friends, I don't know how they do that, but there is a way to support. Thank y'all so much.
Same thing.
Biggest struggle was staying sober while barbecuing. Show us how to make a brisket for taquitos. Hey man, just overcook that dude. Overcook it, man, just like you do for barbecue sliders and for barbecue sandwiches. Throw some barbecue sauce on it if you want to make sliders or sandwiches. Throw some salsa in there if you want to make tacos. Not hard to do, man. Not hard at all. Thank you. Appreciate that. Tell her we love her. Chili Pekin, that's my favorite, man. Eminem, yes, sir. One of my favorites, I should say. Let's see. There's one question. Why is it when try to make street tacos, they never come out right, even after watching your videos and everything? Man, brother, all I'm going to say, Raymond, is it takes practice. You got to keep trying. You got to have the right amount of oil, the right heat, and there are certain tortillas. There are certain tortillas that work better for that. So you might try a couple of different brands and that might elevate your taco game. That's pretty much about all I can tell you on that. Um, Again, it takes practice, man. You just got to do it. The more you do it, the better you get at it. All right, friends. I think we're going to wind it down here. I keep saying that. Don't forget to join us next week. And, friends, don't forget to share our YouTube with your family and your friends. It would be so, so awesome if we hit 1 million. And if we do, if we get it to 1 million by New Year's Eve, I'm going to come up with some kind of giveaway and we'll give it away in the new year. It may be a box of rubs and a Pitmaster class or both or one or the other. We'll come up with something for sure. But let's try to get that done. Like, comment, and share. Tell your family and friends about Arnitech. Friends, I see there's a lot more comments and probably a few questions in here. Please save them. Come back and see us again next week. And who knows, I might get a wild hair and pop up sometime during the middle of the week. Highly unlikely because I got so much stuff going on, but you never know. I've been known to be a wild Indian, according to my dad. Thank you, Chef Ronnie. Appreciate that. He does have one question. Is there any technique I could use when I reheat my tamales to make them moist again when I reheat them? One of the things that we've done for that, Ronnie, is just put them back in the steamer the same way we cook them. You can do that or put them in a pan with just a little bit of water and let them steam a little bit. You don't want to put water where they're into the tamale. Just put a real light coat on the bottom. Make sure you have a heavy lid so that it steams in there and put them at a low temperature. Let them steam a little bit. That's one way. You can do that in the oven as well, but you probably need some moisture in there. I would not cook them in the microwave to try and get them back to moist. Just my opinion. But there's an idea. Try it, and I hope it works for you. Friends, thanks for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Again, like, comment, and share on our YouTube. Don't forget to come see us next week. Very big, very big, very special announcement. You guys are going to love it as much as I do. I promise. Guys, thanks for watching. Keep the smoke light and don't forget to make it work. Boom.